Learn English to Khmer past tense. I made to they did in.
ខ្មែរ
Welcome to past tense adventure. Hey, you're about to learn Khmer past tense with a tiny bit of chaos, a lot of repetition, and zero boring grammar speeches. Let's make these phrases stick like noodle soup on a white shirt. Today you will practice 8 useful English to Khmer phrases. I made, you did, he did, she did, it did, we did, you all did, and they did. In Khmer, you will hear
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
for I made,
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
for you did,
គាត់បានធ្វើ
for he did,
នាងបានធ្វើ
for she did,
វាបានធ្វើ
for it did,
យើងបានធ្វើ
for we did,
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
for you all did, and
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
for they did. Yes, that is a lot. No, you do not need to panic. Even your imaginary pet lizard can learn this. Your mission today. Your goal is simple. Hear the phrase, picture the action, and say it back with confidence. If you sound dramatic, even better. Think of the core action word,
ធ្វើ
meaning do or make. The completed feeling often appears with.
បាន
So when you hear,
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
imagine pointing to yourself and saying, I made. When you hear,
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
imagine pointing at your friend, who definitely broke the lamp, and saying, you did. When you hear,
គាត់បានធ្វើ
picture a man finishing a task. He did. When you hear,
នាងបានធ្វើ
picture a woman finishing the task perfectly while everyone else is still looking for the instructions. She did. When you hear,
វាបានធ្វើ
imagine a machine finally working after you threatened it emotionally. It did. When you hear,
យើងបានធ្វើ
picture your whole team cheering. We did. When you hear,
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
imagine talking to a group. You all did. When you hear,
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
imagine another group across the room. They did. Mini story of suspicious success. Now let's throw all the words into one silly story. If the story feels weird, good. Weird is memorable. Yesterday, the neighborhood baking contest became a full detective mystery. I walked in holding a crooked cake and proudly announced,
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
I made it. My friend looked at the frosting disaster and said, wow.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
You did that? A man in the corner finished a perfect dragon-shaped loaf, so everyone whispered.
គាត់បានធ្វើ
Then a woman carried in a beautiful tray of pastries, and the crowd nodded.
នាងបានធ្វើ
Suddenly, the old oven made a heroic beep and came back to life. We stared at it in silence and said,
វាបានធ្វើ
It did. After that, our whole table finished decorating together, and we shouted.
យើងបានធ្វើ
The teacher pointed at the class and smiled.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
And when the judges saw the final display, they said of the students across the room.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Nobody won first prize because the cat sat on the scoreboard. Useful example lines. Let's make the phrases more practical with short examples you can actually reuse. Repeat after each one if you want. I made a cake yesterday. In Khmer,
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើនំសើមិញ
I made a small table.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើតូចៗមួយ
I made a mistake. A classic human achievement.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើកំហុសមួយ
Yesterday, you did the work quickly.
ម្សិលមិញអ្នកបានធ្វើការយ៉ាងលឿន
He did a good job.
គាត់បានធ្វើការល្អ
She did it very well.
នាងបានធ្វើវាល្អណាស់
Yes, it did.
បាទវាបានធ្វើ
We did it together.
យើងបានធ្វើវាជាមួយគ្នា
You all did well in class.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើល្អនៅក្នុងថ្នាក់
They did the work yesterday.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើការងាររំសើរមិញ
Pronoun parade. Here comes the parade of pronouns. Imagine each one wearing a ridiculous hat so your brain remembers them. I made equals.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
Picture yourself in a chef hat. You did equals.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
Picture your friend in a detective hat. He did equals.
គាត់បានធ្វើ
Giant superhero hat. She did equals.
នាងបានធ្វើ
Sparkly crown hat. Yes, that is not how hats work. It did equals.
វាបានធ្វើ
Tiny robot hat. We did equals.
យើងបានធ្វើ
Matching team hats. You all did equals.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
A whole pile of hats. They did equals.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Hats in the distance. Dialogue at the disaster fair. Let's hear the phrases in a fast little dialogue. Imagine a school fair where everything is slightly on fire, but politely. A. Who made this cake? B.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
A. Really? You did this? B. Yes.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
Is what you say to me, but please say it kindly. A. Who fixed the chair? B.
គាត់បានធ្វើ
A. And who painted the sign? B.
នាងបានធ្វើ
A. Did the machine finally work? B.
វាបានធ្វើ
A. Did your team finish the booth? B.
យើងបានធ្វើ
Teacher. Class, did you all complete the poster? Class.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
Judge. What about the students over there? Helper.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Memory tricks that actually help. Now let's glue these phrases into your memory with images and movement. Your brain loves nonsense more than it admits. 4.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
Point to yourself and mime building something. 4.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
Point at someone else like a dramatic lawyer in a courtroom. 4.
គាត់បានធ្វើ
Picture a man checking off a finished task. 4.
នាងបានធ្វើ
Imagine a woman placing the final star on top of a project. 4.
វាបានធ្វើ
Tap a machine or object and give it a thumbs up. 4.
យើងបានធ្វើ
Point to yourself and the people around you. 4.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
Sweep your hand across a whole group. 4.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Point to a group farther away. Preferably not strangers in a supermarket. Quick drill time. I say the English, you think or say the Khmer. No pressure. Okay, tiny pressure. I made.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
You did.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
He did.
គាត់បានធ្វើ
She did.
នាងបានធ្វើ
It did.
វាបានធ្វើ
We did.
យើងបានធ្វើ
You all did.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
They did.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Tiny quiz, big drama. Let's test your memory. Imagine a game show host who is way too excited about grammar. Question 1. How do you say, I made, in Khmer? Answer.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
Question 2. How do you say, you did? Answer.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
Question 3. Who is?
គាត់បានធ្វើ
He did. Question 4. What does?
នាងបានធ្វើ
Mean? She did. Question 5. The toaster finally worked. Which phrase fits?
វាបានធ្វើ
Question 6. Your team finished together. Which phrase fits?
យើងបានធ្វើ
Question 7. A teacher praises the whole class. Which phrase fits?
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
Question 8. A reporter talks about a group over there. Which phrase fits?
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Congratulations. You have defeated 8 tiny language monsters. Friendly wrap up. You did great, and yes, that is your official compliment for today. Let's close by hearing the full set one more time. Here they are again. I made equals.
ខ្ញុំបានធ្វើ
You did equals.
អ្នកបានធ្វើ
He did equals.
គាត់បានធ្វើ
She did equals.
នាងបានធ្វើ
It did equals.
វាបានធ្វើ
We did equals.
យើងបានធ្វើ
You all did equals.
អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាបានធ្វើ
They did equals.
ពួកគេបានធ្វើ
Thanks for learning with me today. Keep practicing out loud, repeat the phrases a few times, and use them in tiny sentences until they feel natural. You are doing great, so come back, practice again, and let your Khmer grow one funny phrase at a time.